Hey guys, it is Liberty. So excited to be on with you, and just driving around running errands, and I had released a word in written form on my social media channel yesterday, so I don't need notes for this moment. But I just felt like the Lord was telling me to get on and release this word over the body, because there's a lot of misalignment happening. And as you know, we've been in a huge shift and a season of God aligning things, especially over this last year. And so I felt like I've had a lot of response. We've had people contact, we've had messages and stuff, and people are saying that, they really needed to hear the word, that I released about misapplied words. And I've said to you guys, don't be getting on YouTube and watching every YouTube prophet. Like, don't be doing that, because not every word is for you. And then stuff gets drummed up. I'm just being so real with you guys. Okay. But you've already heard me say that, so just don't be doing that. And so I'm giving you some true examples. So the word I released was, the Lord said, Liberty, there's many in my body that have either come out of alignment from their original call that I put on their life, or, I'm whatever it is, and I'm trying to get them back in alignment, or just you're not in alignment because you don't know what your call is maybe yet, or whatever. And God's trying to get you into alignment, which would mean you're at the basics level of breaking fear and all of that off that come with your first moments of stepping out into the call. And then there's those that were in the call, got out of your lane, and God's trying to get you back in your lane. But what can happen is we can have misaligned, what I call misaligned messages that cause you to continue to stay misaligned with the Lord. And anyone can be guilty of falling for this. And so the Lord said, Liberty, when I show my people that they're out of my will, it doesn't matter what the cost is that they have to let go of or walk away from. They have to get back in my will, because that is where my blessing is, my favor is, and this is where they're going to make the most impact on the earth. And you guys know I have lots of stories about that, especially concerning God telling me he didn't want me church planting or being a pastor anymore. Man, this is a bumpy road, guys. I don't know what the deal is. It's Georgia roads, guys. I'm not going to get going on that. Just not going to talk about that. So I know what it feels like to walk through all these stages. I've done it several times over the last 7 years. And I'm just here to tell you that it feels so amazing to just hear, obey, and move. Do what he's telling you to do. Don't drag your feet. Don't be afraid of what people are going to think. Don't push back the announcement. I am telling you, there is so much peace in just keeping it real. If you have a following already, if you already have a ministry, if you already have a platform, like I said, maybe you're new and he's trying to get you into alignment with his call for you, and you're still figuring out your purpose. Or there's those of you that have gotten out of alignment, he's bringing you back in, or he's taking you into not fully, out of what you've always been called to, but he has a new beginning for you, kind of like for me. That's what he's doing with me. And so, but what can happen is we can hear people speak messages that are amazing messages, but they're not for us. So what happens is we hear these messages, and it can make us think, it can cause us to be confused, it can cause us to be wrestling, it can cause us to have pride. Pride rises up because we realize that to get back in alignment with the Lord or to obey him is going to cost us possibly, our reputation, or people are going to judge our decisions or whatever. But the thing is, this is not the season to care. I'm being so real with you guys. Following the cloud in his presence is what is got to happen in our life. This is not the season to play around with the Lord. And so I say this in a way so you can understand. For me, it doesn't make me anybody. I'm just the vessel. But he has anointed me. He has mantled me with specific things that I am to release on the earth. And he needs me to do them. So there's certain things I cannot do because it will confine me from doing his will and being available to just let him be the boss and be led by him and be led by the Spirit, be led by the cloud. Some people are meant to be in one spot for a minute. And so like for me, so here's an example. Michael and Jessica, they're doing a Jesus Image pastors conference in California right now. And when they're doing stuff like that, even if I'm not there in person, I just kind of like peek in and I'll rewatch some of the words or whatever. And their heart, some of it is their message is directly to you as a pastor, if that's what you're called to do, if that's your calling. And so some of what they say, like Jessica's message, don't apply to me because I am not called to be a pastor anymore. And so the encouragement that she could be giving to 818 right in front of me, you guys, for reals, all the time, like literally on a white Jeep. That is so cool. So when she, she's speaking a message, she's saying, things will get old. You get tired of stuff. I was a pastor for 8 years, guys. I did it. I know it's just she was saying. So, and things get old. You get bored, whatever. I don't ever get bored, honestly, for real, because I'm super with it. Like I get excited and I'm happy about everything. So, but the reality is this is her way of encouraging pastors. They're encouraging pastors. If this is your call and you're here in this room because you're a pastor and you're actually supposed to be doing it, and you are in alignment, then this message is for you, to strengthen you, uphold you, give you a different view on your job as a pastor. I did it, you guys. I know what it means to be a pastor, and I know what it is to lead pastors, and I know what it is to teach pastors. And so, but at the same time, for me, I listen to the message, but I have to take different pieces out of it. That doesn't apply to me. I'm not called to pastor a church. It is not my call anymore. And if I had continued doing it, I'm out of alignment with heaven. And so when I made this, so here's an example. So when I made the decision not to pastor anymore and to obey God, there were several steps that happened, and then I moved to Texas. And so I'm here at the post office, people, just track with me. But in Sandy Springs. When all that was happening with me switching over and doing all that, the Lord had called me away on a 3-day prayer retreat. And he was like, Liberty, I just want you to come and sit with me and pray. So I went and I sat and I read the word for an hour and I prayed in the Spirit for an hour and I laid on my face for an hour. And I did that for like 3 days routine. Didn't hear a stitch of a thing, guys, for reals. And so I'm driving home back to where I lived. I was only a couple hours away. And I'm like, Lord, like, what was that all about? Like, what are you trying to tell me? And he said, Liberty, I want you to say out loud with your mouth that you're moving to Texas and you're closing the church. And I was like, whoa. But you guys have to understand the walk that I walk, I love obeying him. There is no pride here with that whatsoever. When he says, that's it, you be done. I'm done. So I immediately had perfect peace hit me. There was no wrestling. There was no nothing. And I was just like, whoa. He goes, I need you to say out loud, you're going to let go of the church. You're going to walk away. You're not pastoring it anymore. And you're going to be in alignment with moving to Texas. And you're going to focus on basically traveling ministry, itinerant ministry, writing the books he's called me to write, and going everywhere he tells me to go all over the globe to release the glory. because this is what, and the fire, this is what he's told, this is what I'm called to do. And the now word over the bride, to prepare the bride. And so, I came home, and you guys know, if you watched my Texas announcement, he had just told me that 3 days before. I ain't playing. There's so much peace in just saying what it is, obeying quickly, letting go quickly, getting everybody that follows your ministry on board. So first and foremost, I had a meeting with the church staff, volunteers, and I let them know this is what's going down. I ain't pastoring no more. God's moving me to Texas. I have to focus on traveling. I need to travel. God's calling me to travel, and I have to be able to do that. And so I cannot have this church anymore. And plus he's moving me to Texas. And so there was an option I was given to, because I was a church planner, so there wasn't any, I could hand it off to somebody, and then move out of state. But I did not feel like that's what God was telling me to do. He was like, no, Liberty, that season is completely done in your life. I want you to completely step aside from it and be available to do apostolic work and travel. And so, but during that season, if I had went to a pastor's conference and listened to somebody speak a word to me when I knew God was calling me out of being pastoring, I knew that I was out of alignment if I stayed pastoring. If I had heard the message, I very easily could have been misled or misapply it. So like when Jessica's preaching a message and she's saying, it's going to be hard. It's going to stink. Things are going to get old. You need to not quit. You can't just give up and quit. Like, you can't just walk out because it's been rough. So for me, I could have heard that and been like, back then is what I'm saying, back in 2020, and been like, oh yeah, I don't want to be a quitter. Da-da-da-da-da. If I don't know who I am, then you can be misled by a message. So that message was not for me, because at that moment, God had already decided in heaven, you ain't supposed to be pastoring, Liberty. So therefore, if there's things that are happening that are hard, if this is getting old or whatever, it's because you ain't supposed to be there. It's because I didn't belong doing it. And so it's you have to know the difference and be able to discern, guys. So like for me, hearing that message then could have easily misled me if I wasn't quick to obey and just laid it all out on the line. So what happens is if we don't obey, so like for me, I didn't keep it a secret for very long. I didn't mull it over and, well, I'll let the public know later, and let's wait till we do these 5 steps, and then I'll get around to telling everybody I ain't supposed to be pastor and I ain't doing this no more. Jesus is calling me up and out. And it doesn't mean that pastoring isn't beautiful if that's your call. But I was not called to be a pastor anymore. So therefore, I could have easily misapplied a message and made myself feel like I was supposed to stay somewhere. And this is what God was showing me yesterday. And this is why I released the written word all over social media. I could have sat there and been like, what am I thinking? I can't just leave. Like, yeah, it has stunk a little bit here or there, or this has happened or whatever. Because like the last 8 months were bad, you guys, especially with COVID hitting. But the Lord allowed it. He was trying to put pressure on me. He was trying to like punch me. Liberty, you're not supposed to be here. You don't belong here. Leave this place. This is not your call. I hear an angel in my right ear. Pretty sure that that's going to be added to this message. I do not know. Okay. I think they're just reminding me of something. So thank you. And so here's the thing so this is how things can get misapplied to our life. And so like if there's pride, you're not going to want to obey quickly. You're not going to want to make the announcement, because pride is telling you to save face. You don't want to be embarrassed, whatever. You guys, all that's got to go. Humility is the road to serve Jesus. It was an honor to be called out of pastoring and be aligned with heaven to do apostolic work and travel. I love what I do. I would never now seeing it go back to that feels like I would be going to jail, because it is not God's will. I would be confining myself, and that is not God's will for me. And so it's very important. And so, like, you guys know, I've talked about over the last little bit that people have been asking me in Texas, are you going to church plant? No, God said no, Liberty. Just so you know, like I said, I could ride high on excitement. My head and my heart were like, we're doing this. This is going to be awesome. But Jesus is like, no, Liberty, you're not pastoring anymore. This is not your call to pastor. Your call is to do the global ministry and travel and do what I'm telling you to do. So it's very easy, you guys. This is not the season to get out of alignment. It is not the season to dig your heels in and try to make something work that is not God's will for you. It is not God's will for you. Let me repeat that. It is not God's will for you. So then what will happen is we'll dig our heels in, and we don't want to be embarrassed or whatever because of our pride. And so what'll happen is if you're in that place, you can listen to a message that's not meant for you, take counsel from it when it's not meant for you. You can try to start applying it when it ain't meant for you. That is not your word for the day, because you're not called to do that. It's not God's will for you to be doing that in the first place. So then, therefore, you don't take counsel from a message that is being directed at people who actually are called to be doing that. And so this is so huge right now, you guys. So let me give you an example of something that happened a few months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. I had visited a church, and when I left the church and we were leaving to go out to the car, immediately the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, Liberty, you don't belong here. And I was like, whoa, okay. And I was like, okay, like, what does that mean? Like, what are you trying to tell me? Like, I mean, that's extreme, you know? And he said, Liberty, you don't belong here. And I said, okay. But it was the next thing that he said that blew my mind. Are you guys ready? He said, and neither does the person pastoring. I was like, whoa. They don't belong here either, Liberty. Pray for them. And I was like, okay. And so here's the thing, you guys. We've got to align with heaven. And here's my counsel to you. Do it quickly. There is no time for games. There's no time for saving face. There's no time for not looking like you're a quitter. It's none of that. Obeying God, there is never going to be anything but favor on obedience to God. And I'm telling you right now, when God told me to let go of the church and move to Texas, and then it was only 3 days before I announced it to everybody. Literally, the getting it off your chest and putting it out there in the atmosphere, number one, puts the devil on notice. Dude, stop messing with me over it, because I will obey God and I'm going to be in alignment with heaven. And number two, it literally brings perfect peace, you guys. Perfect peace. I had perfect peace as soon as I said out loud, I am not going to pastor the church anymore. I am letting it go. This is God's will for me. And so I'm just here to tell you. So this is the word. Pay attention to staying in alignment. Also, don't get pulled back. This is not a season to get pulled back into old warfare, to get pulled back into stuff that is not even what's happening right now. He's fulfilling promises right now. We're always going to battle. We're always going to have to be doing purity. We're always going to be doing all the things. This is why, like, I'm doing Unshakable Bride and things, because you guys always have to keep being prepared. But at the same time, there's seasons where promises are being fulfilled. And we have to be people who can immediately obey and have no problem saying it out loud, even to the public. Getting it off your chest, moving on from it. Because I'm telling you this, there's no amount of steps or things that you can do to alleviate the moment, to avoid the moment for a minute or put it off for a minute until you've done so many steps. I'm just telling you, the Lord has never allowed me to obey that way. I always have perfect peace when I obey quickly, take action quickly, and move quickly. So like for me, I immediately was like, okay, I came home from my prayer retreat, and I believe that night I had a meeting with the staff, and I said, we're closing the church. The Lord said I ain't supposed to pastor. We're moving to Texas. It's that simple. And you guys are like, that ain't simple. Yes, it is. Following Jesus, following his presence, no matter what the cost. We have to not care what people think. And so lots of people had opinions. I even got slandered behind my back. I don't care. You guys, Jesus said we'd be persecuted. You think your obedience ain't going to ever come with a price? But I'll tell you this, it also comes with perfect heavenly peace that only comes from heaven. Because what'll happen is if we dig our heels in, we're somewhere we're not supposed to be. We're doing what we're not supposed to be doing. And what'll happen too is it changes us. It changes us from who we actually really are supposed to be, because we're not even in alignment with heaven. And so now everything that's happening is, we're becoming who we're not. And who we were and who he actually wants us to be starts to disappear. And it's heartbreaking to watch that. And so it's very important, you guys, that we listen, we obey quickly, allow the peace of heaven to come over you, let it go quickly, walk away quickly. Don't dig your heels in, don't drag it out. Like the Lord told me, Liberty, I want you to say out loud, you're not pastoring anymore, you're letting go of the church. And this is just my own walk example with it, you guys. But you guys, it can be any scenario. But I'm just here to tell you, this is not the season. The Lord has made it clear to me, Liberty, so much time has been wasted on lots of different things. And he said, I need my people in proper position because I have mantled them. I've given certain people on the earth, especially you guys, we're all called to serve. We're all called, but not everybody is called to lead. And not everybody is mantled to do that. And it's an honor, you guys. And some of the stuff, now just, whoo, man, I can feel the glory. Some of the stuff, like for me, if I wasn't obedient and doing what he's called me to do, there's so many things that would not be happening on the earth. There's things that I've taught people. There's things I'm releasing on the earth that nobody could have ever received. If I got out of alignment with being who God's called me to be and doing what he's called me to do. And, it makes me think of someone, like immediately, I think of Janet and Joshua Mills. I love them so much. And they're a great example. And Josh will tell you that they've had a lot of persecution because of they're all about the angelic and the glory realms and everything. And there's some people that absolutely don't understand them and they don't like them because of it. But this is the job, man, I can feel the glory that God's given them on the earth, is to make that realm known, not just on the earth, but to God's people too, because even we need to have those encounters. Even we need to learn all the things, guys. Man, I can feel the glory. So here's the thing. So like for me, all the things that I teach, all the things that I release, all the things God's called me to do, if I get out of alignment with staying in my lane, then now the earth is not receiving what I was put here to do. The whole reason I was born. And it would be just like Janet and Josh, for example, quitting everything that they're doing to go do this one thing. All the impact that they make in the glory realms with the angelic and everything else, and everything that he's taught, he is like real deal. Quitting all that and being like, I'm going to sit over here and do this. And now all this other stuff that they do on the earth is not happening when they're called to take the glory everywhere. the manifested glory and to teach about the angelic and working with angels and everything, you guys. This is normal in my household. Like, as I was sitting here, they were talking to me, most likely reminding me of a couple things I needed to say. So here we go. It's normal. And so I would never want to stop being the me I'm called to be, because I have to go out and release it. And I was born with a purpose, and I would never want to let pride get in the way of me seeing all of this in humility and being like, whoa, what an honor it is, you know, to be chosen to be the one that really, that is the example of this on the earth, or this on the earth. You guys, it does matter. We do matter. Our obedience does matter. And I think that people that have the death mentality, that, or maybe they've had a lot of rejection in the past or whatever, I don't know. Whatever's made them hard, they can't grasp the true love of Jesus for them. They can't grasp that their life matters on the earth, that they were born with a purpose. Not everybody has the same calling. Not everyone has the same anointing. But we're not all just random sheep in a sea of faces. We are kings and priests and queens, whatever you want to call it, in the kingdom of the Lord. We are sons and daughters. We are not orphans. We are not valueless and purposeless. If we live that way, we will not be able to fully understand and be aligned with our call and stick to it. And I'm telling you this right now, you guys, I don't care about a platform. You already know this. I'm rowdy. I have one, yes. And it's not exactly small. I get that. That doesn't matter. That's not, I'm the smallness. Okay, so like, here's an example. If I were to get married, they would have to be willing not to be too big for their britches. I know that's an old saying. I'm just saying, guys. Too cool for theirself to do the small things. And what that means is when I'm asked to go somewhere and preach, prophesy, and release miracle signs and wonders over 200,000 people, man, I'm so honored to go do that. What an honor. But then when God says go to Texas, gather whoever will come and pray. We had maybe 30 all together. And do this one thing right here. Pray, prophesy, declare over, healing over the place and all the things that we did over there where the flood happened. I'm just as honored to do that with 30 people as 200,000 somewhere. It makes no difference to me. I'm not too cool for nothing. And I'm honored whatever the job. If God says go to a stadium and speak to 5,000 people, I will go do that and I will be so honored. But if he says go to a house church and minister to 30, I'm going to be so honored to do that. And so whoever, so my husband would have to be aligned that we're weird. Most likely there's going to be all kinds of angelic activity in our house. We're going to run all over the world for Jesus. We're going to do the big things. We're going to do the small things. We ain't going to be too cool for the little things. We're going to honor everything the same in all absolute humility before the Lord and love him with our life. And we're not going to care. We're not going to be about looking good. We're not going to be about a platform, even though we will have one. It won't be about that. And so like for me, when the Lord sent me on assignment to go to Brownsville, he said, Liberty, I want you to go there, step foot in the church for a Sunday service. I need your feet on the ground there, because I had not been there since late 1997. So I obeyed and I went. These are the things I do. This is how I live. And I went and spent the weekend there. And we had some, nice family time. But we also were able to, go step foot in the church. And I was able to get connected with the pastor. And then they had the other ministry that was there. They were getting ready to kick off their week of whatever, burning ones. So that was cool. They were there, and we were able to pray over them and all the things. And it was really, really cool. So the thing is these are these small, big. I'm not going to say I'm nobody, because I am somebody in Christ. I am his daughter from the tribe of Judah, who's been called and chosen with a purpose on the earth. But at the same time, I am not too cool for nothing. And I'm not going to only do things that make me look good. And so, like for me, I have to be super protective of who I would even consider marrying. Because number one, they have to be just as crazy for Jesus as me. They also need to be a little weird, because it is what it is, people. They got to be weird. And it needs to not offend them. What's it like? Literally, this is how we're going to live. Like, and nothing is too small and nothing is too big. Like, it's, we honor everything the same. Jesus is king. And so here's the thing. Be careful about allowing yourself to hear messages that will, that then you misapply them. And do not allow anything to promote pride, the failure spirit. We have to be so not caring of what people think, you guys. The fear of man, the spirit of intimidation is huge. If you don't break it, then you're going to be led around by it. And I broke that many, many years ago. I have no desire, and I will not even let it back in. And so Jesus is king, guys. And so I hope that this blessed you and ministered to you, and I hope it really enlightened you on how much we have to be careful what our eyes see, what our ears hear. Literally, you guys. Literally. And I am so, literally, I say this all the time, but I am so excited for all that God's doing. I am so excited for the rest of my life. Literally, I have no words. And I have no words but to go wreck it for Jesus. And, I'm not too big, don't have too big of pants or too cool to go down to Midtown and stand on the corner and pray and prophesy with a small crowd, or go over here and minister to 5,000 people. I'm just as honored and excited to do any of it. Anything he asks of me, I am honored to do it. Even if it's small and weird. I really like small and weird, guys. I think a whole lot of people need to get a little smaller. For real. Because there's a lot of things we can miss if we make ourselves too big. I'm so real with you guys right now. For real. So if this word was for you, I hope it blessed you. Know your season. Know your heart. Know your desires. Let pride go. Get rid of the failure spirit. Stop worrying about what people think. Say it out loud and get to it. There's perfect peace in it, guys. And it is beautiful. It is amazing. It is wonderful. And so, okay, I love you guys. Be blessed. And I hope that this just blessed you guys. I'm so excited to see all of you on Unshakable Bride tomorrow night. You guys need to register if you have not. You can go to spiritmove.global and register. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for what the first session we're doing tomorrow night. I already know what I'm doing, and I'm so excited about what I'm doing, what God has shown me to do. And so blessed to do it. Anyway, I love you guys. Be blessed. And this was supposed to be way shorter, but I always say that. And but then I just keep getting more stuff given to me, and I just keep saying it, guys. I just roll with it. So okay, I love you guys. Be blessed. Talk to you later.